So this is Fam Electric Ghost. I interview artists from around the world. We're part of Spotify. We have over 22,000 listeners since 2018. And we're going to be interviewing AZZURRA and Federico Ferrandina. Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, that's quite accurate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we're talking to AZZURRA, who's a singer-songwriter. And in your biography, I'm just going to read a little bit of it so our audience can understand who you are. It says you combine delicate electronic dark pop elements with like an intimate voice, and also from your Spotify, you've got some great praise from different musical like fanzines or magazines, like delicate vocals, slowly expanding electronica instrumentals, and a vibe that makes you forget about the world from Stereo Fox. And then from Rocket, it said, wrapped by a soothing, effervescent voice, electronic soul, stylish dream pop, sweet and obsessive, it lingers on you like a question without an answer. So that's really great praise.
Thank you.
So it also indicated you started writing music around 2015 on your own, and you had released a single. So your single Before the Lies and your first EP, Where We're Going. And that was also produced by Federico.
Yes.
That got the attention of all these international music blogs. And then you also, in 2019, you're working with, see if I can get the name right, Sadaharu, Yagi, and Federico. And then you wrote the World Environment Day SDGs theme song, We Are Walking on for the United Nations. So that's really awesome.
Thank you.
And then you got signed by French label Another Music Records, and that's where all your new songs are. Yeah, the new releases like Kidnapped.
Exactly.
And the other songs that we're going to talk about today, I was looking at. So Kidnapped and Gray are on your new label, right?
Correct.
Yes,
yeah.
today's a good day because it's a release day. And today, my new single, Kidnapped, is finally out. And so I'm really excited and happy.
Okay, so I'm going to get back to the questions because we kind of got cut off before. So the questions I sent you, the first one was, when did you get into music and at what age?
It's a difficult question because I really don't remember that. And all I can say is that I remember myself singing since I was born. And maybe I started at 4 or 5 years old when my mother gave me a Bon Tempi mini record set for Christmas, and I started exploring with my voice.
That's interesting. So are you primarily a vocalist, or did you do you play like guitar or piano?
My favorite instrument is my voice, but I play a little bit of piano.
Okay, so do you use that to help you write your songs when you're doing your demos, or do you primarily use your voice?
Yeah. I write the melody. Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
with a little bit of piano and a little bit of drum or synths, and then Federico works. Yeah.
So when did you realize that you had the talent to like write your own music and start like writing your own material? Was that at that early age, or did you find that later?
That's something I always knew, but at some point in my life, when I decided to move to Berlin, I understood that only music could make me happy. So right now, I wake up every day singing and creating music and trying to express everything I feel inside.
That's awesome. So
Thank you.
if I was gonna look for your influences and reference points, so like who are you inspired by? I hear a little Bjork. I hear some like Enya. I hear like a lot of dark pop influences. Are there specific artists that you're influenced by?
There are no musicians in my family, but thanks to them, I grew up listening to Beatles, Pink Floyd. Yes, so and growing up, I started discovering music on my own, approaching to the electronic trip hop scene as Massive Attack or Moby, Portishead, The Lamb, and then more recent artists such as James Black, Seb Dalisa, Banks, Zone. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a wide. Yeah. I'm a.
So I
That's interesting because you mentioned like the classics. A lot of musicians, every time I talk to them, they always bring up the Beatles because they kind of crafted modern pop songwriting. And so that's interesting. And then Pink Floyd, I'm a big synth guy, so I
yes,
play
I
a
like
lot of
so much.
I play a lot of analog synthesizers. I have Moogs and things like that, and just their kind of rock opera approach, like what Townsend used to do, with like Tommy or Quadrophenia, they did like even bigger, and so they created these like soundscapes, which are I think a lot of modern electronic musicians are still steeped in what Pink Floyd did and what the Beatles did to kind of give you the structure of your song. I think that that's my opinion, but it sounds like you're influenced as well. So that's very interesting. So if you were going to describe the genre of music that you're in, I know that your Spotify says dark pop. What other type of genre would you describe your music being in?
Oh, yes, many people say avant pop or dark pop, and I honestly honestly think that could be the correct way to put it if you really need to insert my style in a genre.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Well, a lot of people are kind of cross genre today. There's a lot of people when I talk to bands, I've talked to like punk bands that are mixing hip hop or mixing jazz, and so I think a lot of musicians, you know, in order to move forward in music, I think people are trying to like get rid of the barriers and try to go between genres. Whatever the song needs, that's the genre it will include. And so some folks don't want to be pinned down into any one genre, but sometimes your music kind of represents what it is. When you hear it, you say, "Well, that's dark pop." But
Hmm.
I do hear atmospheric, like progressive electronic, as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you write your music, you said you use synthesizers. Do you use like a digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or any of the other ones like Ableton Live, or is that
Oh yes, yes.
primarily what you're? Do you use that, or do you Federico? Do you primarily do all that work?
I usually compose my music with Ableton Live and a MIDI controller. Then Federico works out my ideas in a wider arrangement and adds his own ideas, developing and sharpening our shared artistic vision. And it always happens remotely as we are in different countries. So he lives between Rome and Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and he recorded all synths, guitars, and he hired strings players to complete the production. And once the instrumental part was okay, I reached him to record the final vocal tracks. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are doing remote production? Do you ever like meet physically in a studio, or everything's remote?
Basically, we start the production process remotely. There's a lot of back and forth with emails and files and tracks and ideas and brainstorming. And once we are really happy with what we have in terms of the instrumental part, then that's the moment where we physically get in the same place and record
Oh, so then
all
you
the
go to
vocals.
so you go to a traditional studio to do the final recording?
It's not really a traditional studio. It's my home studio in Rome, where I'm very well equipped to record
It's the
vocals.
best
Always,
studio.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, those sometimes are the best. I was watching a documentary about Peter
yeah.
Gabriel, and he talking about how he did so in this farmhouse out in the countryside, and he kind of built it to be a studio. And I think people who do their studio, like I have a home studio. A lot of indie musicians today, that's what you do if you can build it correctly and have the right sound acoustics and everything. But yeah, I think you just get more control over what you're doing,
Yeah,
from
I
my
mean
opinion.
that's the contemporary trend, but it's also the most
Yeah.
comfortable and yeah, it's the most comfortable options right now to do music. And I mean, if we watch the indie pop charts right now, a lot of the artists out there that are really doing hits, they basically recorded with the same ideas, were working in their home studios, and then just
Yeah,
messaging what they have with the right equipment, with the right treatment, because basically what we need is the ideas. We don't need
yeah,
fancy equipment or
Yeah, exactly.
fancy studio. We don't need to go to Abbey Road.
yeah,
We would love to do that. Maybe at some
yeah,
point we're
yeah,
going to record the strings orchestra in Abbey Road. We would love to do that, of course, at some point. But so far we are
yeah.
working with what we have and doing really the best, just using what we have.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. I mean, I've built up a home studio over the last 20 years,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of the musicians I've been talking to, that probably 90% of musicians I've talked to on this podcast have home studios. And that's where they do a lot of the work. I mean, sometimes they go to a bigger studio to do certain things. But yeah, I mean, like for me, I would go to a bigger studio to get access to like a Moog 50 System 55, something like that I can't get to because it costs like $50,000.
Yeah,
So,
same
Mhm.
thing here.
so
If we would ever need that old great Moog, we would
yeah,
definitely
yeah, but
book a
I'm kind of
studio.
steeped in. Yeah, I mean, my heroes are like Yes and Parliament Funkadelic and guys using mini Moogs and System 10s and stuff like that and D50s and Jupiter 8.
Yeah,
So I mean, if you
wonderful.
can't get a Jupiter 8 and you really want a Jupiter 8, you have to go where somebody has one. But
Yeah, of course. Actually, we are
um,
using some Moogs in the. You probably have noticed some
yeah,
Moog
I can hear
sounds.
it. Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah.
It's at least it's a real analog Moog. It was it's not of course not the 56, but it was a nice Moog
It was like a
Minitor. You probably know
was it a
this
sub 37 or a mini mode?
Mini Moog. No, it's Minitor.
Miniature? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's an awesome machine.
that's a great. They works
I know
really well.
exactly what. Yeah,
Almost all the basses you hear in the album were made
with
by
that.
the Moog Minitor, and in a
Yeah,
couple songs we have a real bass player.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and
yeah. The analog, what I find is it really cuts through the mix, and
yeah,
that's what I kind of like. They use my Moogs for because I'm doing leads or bass lines. It really cuts through. And then lately I've been
and
using the.
it's so beefy in the low side. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
even in a with a low volume, it really
yeah.
cuts through in that
Well, the
in that
ladder filter,
fatty. Yeah,
the ladder filter on these Moogs has such a big impact on the low end. It
yeah,
just really there's nothing you can really get that does that. It's the Moogs. Now you can get other synths to try to get close to it, but the Moogs tend to be that's what it is.
yeah.
Um, so have you been playing live shows, or are you primarily like on the streaming services, or have you done live shows?
Yeah, we just did some showcases. We did a big live show in Italy last summer,
Yes, this
and
summer.
we are just organizing some new live shows, which is going to happen in Berlin on December the 12th, right? In a
Yeah,
place
yeah.
Oh,
called Antoinette,
Marie
which is
Antoinette, yes, you are
yeah,
all invited. Yeah.
yeah.
that's awesome.
Whoever is
Yeah,
Yeah.
listening is
if you have a
invited.
link, if you have a link to that show, we can include it on the podcast when we publish it. If you
You know,
want to.
they just confirmed our booking yesterday, so as soon as the link is ready, we're gonna forward that to you.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I can
Thank
always
you.
update. Yeah, when I publish, I can consistently update. So if you get, while this is in rotation for the next like 30 days, if there's things you want to add, we can add.
Thank
So
you.
even if it's not available today, when I add it, it will get promoted to like there are 11 podcast platforms we're on, including Apple and Spotify and Radio Public and Google Play. So once I migrate, anything you send me will migrate across all the platforms.
Okay,
So that's
thank
pretty
you.
Thank you.
good. So have you ever thought of collaborating? I know you're collaborating with producers, with other musicians, like to get like maybe a duet or anything like that. Have you been thinking about that?
I'm always open to new collaborations that will let me stay true to my style or intentions. I done some collaborations. One of those with the producer Sadaharu Yagi. With one, together with Federico, I composed the theme song for the World Environment Day. And in the past, I collaborated with a synthwave Italian producer called Copycat Club, and I put my voice onto tracks for his first album. And I did some collaboration also with another techno producer in Italy. And yes, I'm always open to new collaborations. Yeah.
So would you think about collaborating in a genre that was outside of your genre, or you want to stay like within your brand of like dark pop? Or would you think of like working with like hip hop or jazz or
Oh yes, I like so much to discover also other genres. Yeah.
So the other question we always ask, yeah. Oh, thank you. What are your thoughts about the future of music? What direction do you think music is going into in terms of like indie and like big labels, or like where you are in the industry? What are your thoughts about where music is going?
So I think that the future of music might be going towards the high-tech streaming services and new ways to make artists and labels more independent economically. So I just think that as an indie artist, I just really enjoy being able to be in charge of my own project, see all my data, see all my revenue, and everything is under control with streaming services. And so my opinion is that so for every independent artist, it is very important to have the chance to release your own music and to be heard by the whole world. But I think that we need to talk also about artist royalties, which are extremely low. And this is an aspect, yes, that has to be considered. So this means that we are in a system that doesn't help independent artists to grow. So that's what I think.
One of the things I found as an indie artist is I actually make more money doing this podcast than I do from my royalties. So I mean, I'm a musician, I'm a producer, I like to do my music, I put a lot of work into it. I am on a signed label, but the way the income stream is, I do better if I do a show in New York City, or if I sell merch, if I sell a T-shirt, or I sell a physical CD that I paid for. I actually make more money doing that. In music, it's kind of like the streaming services are like my radio promotion, but I don't really get a lot of money from it. I make money from other sources, which I would think that I think the industry needs to be a little bit more progressive in finding ways to get artists income streams where, a lot of income streams seem to be, it's fine if you're an indie artist, you kind of have to control your own career. And I find a lot of artists, they make a lot of money from their merch, they make money from their shows, they make money from like, working on commercials or using the music for other things like TV shows.
Basically
or
the business model is changed so much after the streaming services took over. So of course, as all the business gurus say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we cannot rely just on streamings or on live show. We just need to differentiate.
You have to have multiple sources.
And also sync. I mean, sync is a big opportunities for artists right now, because there are still some niche where there are opportunities to get sync into films and advertisement and radio,
video games.
I mean, I've been working in the sync field since 10 years, since 2009. And I had some very, very cool opportunities. And I'm not famous. I'm just an independent composer and music producer, and yet I got pretty nice opportunities in there. So I think that's really something that every independent musician should consider.
I've actually been working with some video game producers to come up with like actually creating brand new releases via video games.
Yes,
because it seems
video
like
games is going to be a big industry in the next.
There's a lot of gaming companies that are looking into doing exclusive releases of music within their games. and then creating like purchase models within the games, which I think if you look at the young people today, they spend a lot of money on video games. And so they're more willing to spend money on a video game than a physical CD. So if an artist puts out a release through a video game, they might be able to get some of that income.
Yeah, we are exploring all that part. I'm literally just starting negotiating some stuff with the video game company, like an
Yeah, I
independent
think
video
that's
game
like that
company.
seems to be a really big area now.
Yeah,
But
we'll go deeper into that. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So you were just talking about the current state of the music industry. So are you? I've heard a lot of artists that have challenged some of the streaming services on their royalties and to make sure they're getting the same, what they think is the right accounting for it. So I think when you were talking about streaming, are you kind of considering that kind of thing where, do you have to like really keep up on your streaming income and make sure you're getting a good accounting?
Yeah, basically, we all we all need to have access to numbers and really try to understand how the system work, and if the revenues are really what we expect to get from
Yes, it's
the revenue.
everything is under
Also,
control. Yeah.
yeah, also
What I
our
found,
labor is really helping us with this
they
process.
are. Yeah, that's good.
They're really transparent. We have to thank this another music label. They're based in Paris,
Yes,
and
we are really lucky.
So they're good at making sure that your income stream is up to date.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, because sometimes the streaming services are behind. Like the data gets it lags. Like a lot of artists have told me sometimes that the accounting of like the streams is not always current or accurate. But it usually
It
gets
still
straight.
happens. Of course, it still happens that sometimes it's not quite accurate, but everything we can do, we do that. We do try to fix if there are issues like that. I mean, we are not in the high in the high spectrum of the streamings. We are like a medium streaming numbers, but we try to really to get whatever we deserve from that.
Of course.
Have you looked into having physical media for your releases, like CDs, vinyl, tape?
Oh yes.
We're probably having a physical CD print first when the album is going to come up in 2020.
Oh, you're gonna have physical CD?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
with the
Yes.
whole album. Yes.
What about vinyl? Are you interested in vinyl? Or are you looking at
that? The label
Yes,
decided
also.
case by case. The label, some of the labels released are also printed on vinyl. It really depends. It's a case-specific choice.
I did a vinyl, Federico.
Oh, you did? Oh,
so yes, of course.
Cool.
So we will release the vinyl also. So
yeah, and one thing I just found is some of the like bands I've been talking to that are like EDM based bands have been trying a new format, which is like USB sticks. That actually like some companies that produce CDs and vinyl are actually producing USB sticks, and one of the advantages of those is they hold like multiple gigabytes. Like maybe
yes, it's a good idea, but I prefer the CD. Yeah.
Well, I guess the reason some of these artists are doing it is they can include their videos. So like when you get like the USB stick, you get like photos, you get videos, you get like PDFs, you get all this stuff. So it's kind of like maybe like an extra thing that if you ever get like a really, diehard fan that wants to have your full experience, what that offers is the ability to give them multiple types of media on one thing, which is just another option. It's just something I was looking at, but.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big fan of USB of USB sticks, unless I know that's really comfortable, especially when you work on project where you have to deliver a lot of gigabytes of work. Yeah, that's comfortable. But as an artist product, I really don't like the idea of USB. I mean, it has nothing artistic to me.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes,
It's
me
not.
too.
Yeah,
Piece
it's
of
not
gear.
really as artistic. It's more for the fans to get something that's kind of like getting a fanzine or getting material. I mean, it's not. It's like I like vinyl myself. I like the vinyl package
Of
because of the
course.
art and some of the things you can include. Like if you want to create really interesting art and additional liner notes, I think the vinyl format gives you a lot of capability to do that artistically.
Yes, I'm doing a booklet with photo and lyrics. And yes, I think yes. And I'm working on my first video clip also. And yes, I think this video clip will be released on February. And so I'm very excited.
Is that gonna be on YouTube and all the other like
Yes, on
videos?
YouTube. Yes, yes, of course.
So how important is YouTube as an artist? Do you find that that's a place you really want to focus on, or are there other streaming services you're looking at for video?
For the video format, I think YouTube and Instagram TV right now are the best places to put out the video materials and the video clips. I mean, there's this new app called TikTok. You probably have heard about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
on there.
it's
I just got
growing.
on.
Yeah, we are on that too. I mean, it's growing really fast. Like in 1 month, there are 500 million users. So it's the
Yeah,
fastest growing app ever. So we are also trying to explore that app and try to understand what's the best content that the video
yeah.
content that
It
we
seems
can
like they're
do.
limited to just 60-second video clips though. But which is like Instagram can do that too. But Instagram has expanded where you can have up to like 10 minutes on an Instagram video channel that you can create. So I've always been very interested in more long form. Though I use the short form on Instagram. I mean, I use it all the time. But yeah, TikTok is really interesting. I'm just wondering if they're going to expand and get like a longer format. But it does seem to have a lot of growth, so that's why a lot of artists are using it.
Yeah, I mean, these are all strategies that we try to we are still studying and try to change as the algorithm and like everything changes, because this platform changes very fast and even their workflow changes. So these are all things that we are considering, and we still are in the process of learning from
Yeah,
them.
it seems like the algorithm changes can be very significant sometimes when you're an artist. Like you can be really trending, and then suddenly Instagram changes their model, and then you got to kind of rebuild again. Which you almost have to have a full-time job of people figuring out the algorithm changes when they change the way they market your material. But yeah, that's just part of the way those things work today. The different streaming services will kind of shift the paradigm from time to time, and then you have to adjust. Yeah. So are you guys you're working toward that 2020 album?
Yes, we are. I mean, the album is ready. We are already set everything for the release in 2020. And this today, this new single called "Kidnap" just dropped out
Yes.
today. So you can listen. Today is November
Yeah, I started
22nd.
pushing
Just
it
to make
on my
things.
Facebook. I
Yeah,
pushed
thank
it on
you.
my Facebook and I pushed it on my Instagram this morning.
Yeah, and there's probably going single. We are just I'm maybe I'm talking too much, but there's going to be a
Yes,
new
on
single
December.
out on December. Yeah, we are already. You're the first one we tell this big news. There's going to
What's
be a
the
new
name of that?
single.
What's the name of that single?
We cannot
Shining.
share the name. Okay,
Oh, I
forgive.
shared.
Oh, you can't. Well,
The new
maybe you
single
didn't
is
hear
called
it.
Shining.
Yes, okay, we can say no.
and
It's fun.
and then the album is going to be out in early 2020.
Or
So
early, like
we're
first
On
quarter.
January.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, what we'd like to do on our podcast is we've had people come back to actually talk about the record, and we've done record release shows where we actually go through every song and talk about each one. So if you're interested in that, we could do that when you get closer to your release.
Yeah, that's gonna be wonderful. We are very thankful that you offer us this
Thank you.
new opportunity. Yeah, we will be happy to chat extensively about the album and going song through song.
Yeah, we did that with
Definitely.
Kendra Black out of New York City. She had an album called The Fire, and we actually went through every song earlier this year. And so, yeah, we like to do that if artists are into it. And we started doing this podcast because we felt, MTV used to be a big place where artists would come on and they actually used to talk about what they were doing. And now we don't really see that as much. And I'm a big fan of musicians, and I'm a musician myself. So I said, you know what? I think I should go out there and just interview artists if I can. And I, just started putting it out there on my Instagram. Could I actually talk to the musicians I like? So I was using Instagram to like find new artists, because I think Instagram is one of the best places to find new music. And then every time somebody, I got interested in what I heard or saw on a video clip, I would ask them, do you want to get an interview? And then people, what's really cool is a lot of times on Instagram, you get to talk to the artist directly. You don't even have to go through their management. And so that was really cool that I was able to kind of break through. And we've been doing this, to the point now we've got over 20,000 listeners. We're on track to hit like 30, 40,000 next year. So it's very cool to be able to talk to people around the world and get different, information from artists is always good. If you're a musician, you're always looking for reference points. You're looking for information on what people are doing. So I really enjoyed talking to you today. I think it's really awesome what you're doing.
Thank you. Me too. Me too. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I listen to a lot of interviews. It's really inspiring to me. So thank you for your
Yes,
services.
me too. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is going to get published. I'll send you the links. It immediately starts to get published within the next hour. So we're going to send you the links as it gets published. And
yes, we will share it.
Yeah, we're gonna spread.
And on Instagram, what's really cool is this Anchor FM and Spotify have really good integration with Instagram. So we can actually set up a highlight that will go right to this podcast on Spotify. So you should be able to do that as well. So if you go into Spotify, you can actually link, once this podcast gets sent to Spotify, it can actually get linked to Instagram as a highlight.
Cool. So we can link that to our post.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on my Instagram. I have like two different ones. One for my alter ego, Josephine Electric, who's my the lead singer of my band, Fam Electric Ghost. She's actually me. But I have our separate site there, and she's going to promote it, and I'm going to promote it on Expansive Sound, and my Facebook, and my Twitter, and my pod, and my blogger. So everywhere I can, I'll push this. And so I hope you enjoyed talking to me. I enjoyed talking to you, and we're going to talk to you as soon as you have your new album information. And good luck with all your.
Thank you.
And I really liked it. I was listening to it before the podcast, and it's like that's a killer song. So everybody should go and listen to "Kidnapped" on every streaming service. And download it too. And if you're really
thank you,
buy it on iTunes or Amazon, because that's always a better way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.